Hey there, Cowboys fans. We will get into the breaking DeMarcus Lawrence news here in just a second. But first, if you haven't already, join us here at the Dallas Cowboys Report. If you want more free Cowboys videos, all you have to do is hit the big red button and subscribe today. Videos coming out every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Like today, you guys got 2 of them. DeMarcus Lawrence news coming up right now. Tom Downey here for the Dallas Cowboys Report, and DeMarcus Lawrence is back. The breaking Cowboys injury news is actually good on today's video. DeMarcus Lawrence had begun training camp on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, which more often than not ends up being a cautionary move by teams to ensure the player is fully good to go once they return to the field and don't risk further injuring themselves. That appears to be the case with DeMarcus Lawrence. He has passed his physical and has been activated from the PUP list. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence did not really practice today at Dallas Cowboys training camp, and to the surprise of nobody, he is not going to play in the NFL Hall of Fame game. Again, just background here. NFL Hall of Fame game is going to be backups only. None of the key Cowboys players will actually be out there. But make no mistake about this. DeMarcus Lawrence being cleared is a big deal for the Cowboys, and it's a very good development. This is a clear sign that Lawrence is fully good to go after yet another offseason back surgery. There was no reason for the Cowboys to activate Lawrence off the PUP list unless they know he's good to go. There's only bad things that can happen if Lawrence gets activated and then isn't actually 100%. This move is a very clear sign, even for an organization that isn't always the most truthful when it comes to their injuries, that Lawrence is indeed a full go. Now, we'll see when exactly Lawrence returns to practice. Probably won't be for a few more days, just with the Cowboys having several off days with that Hall of Fame game coming up on Thursday. But he's primed to once again be the number 1 defensive end for this Dallas Cowboys team. Randy Gregory should provide some good opposite pass rush him. And then there's an intriguing roster battle brewing between maybe Brent Urban, who's probably more of a defensive end, defensive tackle hybrid. Terrell Basham is getting some reps with the ones. So is Dorrance Armstrong. We'll discuss Chauncey Golston later on in today's video. But the big news here is DeMarcus Lawrence is back for the Dallas Cowboys. And I had said weeks ago when he first got put on the PUP list, check in with me once we get to the Hall of Fame game. If he's not cleared by then, time to raise that panic meter. Not the case. Lawrence is a full go for camp now. So what is your one-word reaction to DeMarcus Lawrence being cleared, being activated, and returning to the Dallas Cowboys in a full capacity? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. My one word is pretty straightforward: relief. Now, as I've said before, I take a very I'm not going to panic because I don't want to lose my mind mindset when it comes to training camp injuries. But this is still a bit of relief for the Cowboys and for DeMarcus Lawrence as well. It's a back. That's always going to have me a little bit more concerned than, say, an elbow or a foot or a hand or anything like that. The back is always the thing that concerns me. Now, it had been too early to be worried if you're the Dallas Cowboys. It's, again, late July, early August. The timing here isn't totally meltdown worthy. I was a little bit concerned. In fact, the Lawrence one had me the most concerned of the players on the PUP list, of the notable players on the PUP list, I should say, because it was a previously unreported back surgery. Bit of a red flag. But that he's back before the Hall of Fame game, activated from that PUP list, that's a good sign. That makes me feel better. And to those of you who were concerned about DeMarcus Lawrence, this should help you out quite a bit in terms of making you feel better about his impact this season. Now, last year, as part of I will not mince my words here, a garbage defense in 2020, DeMarcus Lawrence was the one good football player. He was the one guy that was consistently impactful. Now, the sack numbers don't indicate that. The pressure rate does a little bit more so. The tackle for loss numbers do as well. We all know the Cowboys could not stop the run. DeMarcus Lawrence was the one good run stopper on that Dallas Cowboys team last year. And now that he's in the Dan Quinn defense, hopefully, in theory, fingers crossed, he will have a better season in terms of production. That production does matter quite a bit for DeMarcus Lawrence because the Cowboys need more sacks. They're paying him $20 million a year. Now, that was partially their own fault because they waited so long to actually pay him. Could have had him for $17 a year earlier. but they need more sacks out of DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, I feel good about Tank this year. I think it's going to be a double-digit sack type of season for Lawrence. I said the same thing last year. I was wrong on that, although I would argue it's tough to get sacks when opposing teams don't ever have to throw it against you because they have so much success running the football. But make your predictions. Feel free to drink the Kool-Aid if you want. How many sacks for DeMarcus Lawrence this season? I will emphasize it specifically for this year. I was fine and happy with the way DeMarcus Lawrence actually played on film last year. He was an impact player. He was your best defensive player, I would argue, by a pretty good portion across the entirety of the season. Aldon Smith was great to start. Trevon Diggs came on later, but he was still a bit inconsistent. Tank was your best guy. If you get more production from sacks, or in sacks, I should say, from DeMarcus Lawrence, I believe that will be an indication that the Cowboys are having more success on defense. It's never just a one-person thing when it comes to sack production. It's not always the most consistent metric for indicating how good somebody played. But if Lawrence has another down sack season, well, his contract is set up so the Cowboys can get out of it if they want to. Now, I mentioned that DeMarcus Lawrence will not be playing in the NFL Hall of Fame game, but you can still bet on it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. The promo code you see on screen right over my healthy shoulder, promo code Cowboys125. When you put down $100, BetUS will give you an extra $125 for free to bet with when you use that URL, chatsports.com/bet, and the promo code Cowboys125. Look, as a reminder, guys, you should bet on the Steelers. The Cowboys are not going to play Dak or Zeke or Amari, or Tank, or Tyron, or Lair, or any of the notable starters. Now, Pittsburgh's not going to either, but I'm a big believer in, when it comes to the preseason, betting on the backup quarterbacks. As good as Garrett Gilbert played against the Steelers the last time these two teams face off, I'm going to go with the Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph, Joshua Dobbs trio of backup quarterbacks over the Garrett Gilbert, Ben DiNucci, Cooper rush grouping. If you disagree, well, show me or prove me wrong. Put your money where your mouth is. Chatsports.com/bet. That promo code again is Cowboys125. In a camp which has seen too many negative Cowboys injury news, again, it is nice to have DeMarcus Lawrence activated from the PUP list. I am actually going to say this. I am a little bit surprised that they activated him when they did. Again, once you activate someone from the PUP list, you can't put him back on there. Once that jar is opened, if you will, you can't close it again. If the genie's out of the bottle is the phrase I'm looking for, but sounding stupid in the process. The Cowboys aren't going to have many practices over the next few days because you've got the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, you got travel time to and from Canton, Ohio, and then you've got a joint practice on August 7th. I think you'll see DeMarcus Lawrence out there for that particular practice against the LA Rams, but I'm a bit surprised they didn't wait an extra day or two. But clearly, they feel pretty good about where DeMarcus Lawrence is at. And the media reports, by the way, never indicated that he was that far away anyway. But it's still a very good development for the Cowboys and for DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, as things sit right now, there remain 3 players still on that physically unable to perform list. Obviously, Mitch Hyatt was moved to IR to make room for the signing of Malik Hooker. The 3 players are Trysten Hill, Amari Cooper, and Chauncey Golston. So we'll spend some more time on each of these guys here. First is Trysten Hill, who the initial report said he was the furthest away from being cleared. And that's a big deal for Trysten Hill because entering his 3rd year, on his 3rd defensive coordinator, on his 3rd defensive line coach, in his 3rd scheme, Hill needs time out there. He needs to be able to be out there on the field and getting valuable reps for a raw player. Unfortunately for him, he's not out there. Every day he misses a training camp, I think increases the chance that he falls further behind in that defensive tackle depth chart battle, and also opens up the risk of him opening the year on the PUP list and not being cleared in time for week 1. That's one to monitor, probably not next week, but as we get further along, it doesn't sound like he's all that close to returning. The next player I want to see activated, Amari Cooper. It sounds like the timeline, again, initially was maybe after the Hall of Fame game when they leave Oxnard. That was the original timeline for DeMarcus Lawrence. Was the same one for Cooper. I want him back out there. I am going to raise my concern level a little bit for Amari. I'm not going to reach to a full-fledged panic level quite yet, but if we get out of Oxnard and he's not cleared yet, that's going to raise some big-time red flags. Now, it's not like Amari Cooper needs a ton of practice reps, but I do want him out there. I think that's still valuable for the Cowboys to have Amari Cooper fully healthy, if only for all of our own sanity sakes. Finally, Chauncey Golston. And this one I'm intrigued by. It was ruled a minor injury, and yet here we are, early August, and Golston's still not back out there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Golston who ends up being the next player actually cleared by the Cowboys and reactivated, but it is noteworthy that he's still out. He is a third-round pick I thought could make an impact in year one, but this is the reality of life in the NFL. If you're not out there at camp, it opens up the door for other edges, Bradley and I, Dorrance Armstrong, maybe even a Rondell Carter, to stake their claim at minimum to playing time. Golston's going to make this roster as long as he's active. If he's on the PUP list, different conversation. But his chance of making an impact does become impacted the longer he's out of Cowboys camp. Again, if you guys want more Cowboys news every single day, rumors, we'll do some training camp winners and losers on Wednesday. Hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss anything here on the Dallas Cowboys Report.